February was a very romance-heavy month, as it should be. Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be rounding up all of the books I read in February and the books I'm planning to read in March. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more bookish content. I love sharing book recommendations, reading roundups, unboxing videos, and all the fun bookish things, so make sure you're following along. So in February, I ended up reading 9 books, which is pretty good. My goal this month is to read a maximum of 10 each month, so I feel very good about my reads. And one thing that shocked me was that I have a physical copy of all of the books that I read in February, which is rare because I do read ebooks and listen to audiobooks, but I did a lot of immersive reading this month. So let's dive into the books I read. First, I read Wild Side, which is book 3 in the Rose Hill series. I actually read this one on audio. This month I went to a book event in Atlanta, so it was like a 4.5-hour drive, so I listened to audiobooks the whole way. And on the way there, Wild Side was my pick. I finished it while I was at the hotel, and this was really good. I will say it's not my favorite in the series. It's ranking 3rd overall out of 3 books so far, but I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Next, I read Swift and Saddled. This is book 2 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and this is the book that I listened to on the way home from the event, and this was like a really short book, so I ended up finishing it on the way home, but like with time to spare, and I loved this. This book series is so good. I gave this one 5 stars, and I really enjoyed the mental health representation in this book, and the first book, I will say, also had mental health rep that was done really well, so I'm really enjoying these characters. This is such a fun one, and I cannot wait to get to the next book in the series. Next, I read The Other Mistress. I had to throw in some thrillers here and there, and this one was really good. I love Shanora Williams' writing. Her thrillers are so addictive, and this one was no different. Short chapters, cliffhangers on a lot of the chapters that made you want to keep going. It was really fun. I ended up giving this one 4 stars, but I will say I'm kind of toying with rating it like a 3.5 just because, I don't know, I liked it, and the twist really caught me by surprise, but there were some things that, I don't know, wasn't my favorite. This is definitely my least favorite of her books, but it was still really good. I don't know. I will say that I started reading this physically, and then I was I kind of want to read the audiobook. So I picked up the audiobook, and this one has 2 different POVs. So one of them is Adira. She's pretty much the main POV, and then a woman named Jocelyn. So I kind of had in my head how these women sounded. So I do the audio, and Adira, the narrator for Adira, because it had 2 different narrators. Adira's narrator, when she was doing the voice of Jocelyn, it kind of caught me by surprise. I was this is not how I imagined Jocelyn talking at all. I was whatever. I mean, that's just what it was in my head, so who cares? But then when I got to Jocelyn's chapters, that narrator did not read Jocelyn the same way as the narrator for Adira did, so it was kind of jarring, and it took me out of it a little bit. I will say that the audio of this one wasn't the best, so I don't know if I would have felt differently having only read it with my eyes, but I mean, I don't know. So if you are wanting to read this one, I recommend just doing it with your eyes instead of doing the audiobook. It just wasn't my favorite, but this was still a pretty good thriller read. Next is Just for the Cameras, which is a huge freaking book. This is almost 600 pages. I will say that it was very funny. I laughed out loud many times throughout the book, and the narration was great. I did an immersive read of this one. I actually got the ALC and the eARC from Handbrake PR. I didn't finish it in time to read this before release date, but I will say I had a good time with it. It was good. I gave it 3.5 stars just because it was so long. I genuinely believe that romance books don't need to be almost 600 pages. Honestly, between 300 and 400 is the sweet spot for me, and anything more is just fluff. But it was funny, and if you don't mind reading a romance book that's very long, I recommend it. Next up, I read 32 Days in May. This was such a beautiful book. The book follows a woman who was recently diagnosed with lupus, and she is struggling with how to navigate her life as an immunocompromised person. And this was such a beautiful story because she meets this man in the Jersey Shore where she kind of grew up and he kind of grew up there. They didn't know each other beforehand, but they form a bond together, and she takes this opportunity to just be herself without her disease. And it's just a way for her to really come into her own and kind of experience her life without being like pitied by people, which is she's kind of felt like has happened since she was diagnosed. And even though there was like, it was kind of like a dark topic because she dealt with some depression, there was a lot of humor in it and lightheartedness that balanced the story so well. It was so well done. And I did do like audio on this one. Like I listened to a lot of it on audio in the car running errands and then doing an immersive read, and the audio was so well done. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. And I will say that I did read this because I was meeting the author at the event I went to in Atlanta, and she was so great, so wonderful. I highly recommend picking this one up. Another book by an author that I met in Atlanta is The Redo List. This book was so fun. This was another book that I got as an ARC. I got the e-ARC for it, and I didn't read it in time for the release date because it released at the end of January, but I finished it up this month, and this was so good. I loved the relationship between these two characters. It was a brother's best friend. They were experiencing a lot of things together because the main character was trying to redo some firsts in her life after breaking up with her longtime boyfriend, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this, and I did do an immersive read with this one as well. The narration was great. I highly recommend picking this one up. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Next, I read an ARC for Cambria. This book released in February. This is a book by an indie author, and this story was really intriguing. It's not quite a romance story. It's more like romance and literary fiction, but we're following this woman named Cambria after she moves across the country to start fresh in her life. And you follow her through many years, mostly centered around a friendship that she has that's sort of like a wrong place, wrong time relationship. But they have this beautiful friendship, they go back and forth in a relationship, and it was just really intriguing to watch this character grow and see how she changed throughout the story from when she was younger to when she was older. It was really beautifully written. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Next, I finally finished the Hunger Games series and read Sunrise on the Reaping. I was absolutely destroyed after reading this book. It gutted me. It was so freaking good. I was so excited to read Haymitch's story because I was intrigued to see what happened to him during the Hunger Games. In the original trilogy, it kind of teases what happens to him, but we really don't know. We just know that it was rough, and we know that he participated in the Hunger Games during a quarter quell. Oh my God, it was so good, heartbreaking, but beautiful. And just at the end, oh my God, I felt like hollow inside. But I like when a book does that to me, because when a book can make me feel so deeply, it's immediately like a great read for me. I ended up giving this one 5 stars, but I will say this is easily a 6-star read. I absolutely loved it. And I cannot wait to see the movie. It comes out this year in November, so it's a long time to wait, but I loved it so much. And the last book I read this month was A Sea of Unspoken Things. This is another book that I read because I was meeting this author at the event in Atlanta, and I loved this. I have had this one on my TBR for a while, and I always knew I wanted to do the audiobook with it because my favorite narrator, Christine Lakin, does the audio for this, and it was incredible. This is like the only other mystery thriller read that I had for February, and I loved it. The story was so intriguing. There was a mystery, I had no idea what was going on. Kind of a touch of magical realism, I will say, because it follows a twin whose twin brother has died, and she is trying to figure out what happened to him because she's having these feelings that something isn't right. So that kind of was the magical realism part to it, but it didn't feel too deep into magical realism. I kind of felt very believable, but I really enjoyed this. And one thing that I love about Adrienne Young's writing is she does atmospheric vibes so well, and that was no different in this book. I could not get enough. I ended up rating this one 5 stars. Now let's dive into the books that I plan on reading in March. So for March, I don't really have a big TBR. I'm trying not to make big TBRs or hopefuls lists in 2025 because I really want to lean more into mood reading. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for in March, but I do have a goal in March to read ARCs. I have such a stockpile of ARCs that I need to get through, so March is going to be the time that I am prioritizing those. But I do have a couple other reads that I want to pick up, so let's round those up. First, I'm reading The X's. I have actually already started this one. I'm probably about 20% through so far. I'm in a book club and we're reading this one, so I'm very excited because I haven't read a book of the month book in a long time, and I need to be getting through that. That's another one of my goals for this year, so very happy to be getting through this. And it's pretty intriguing so far. I'm not really sure where it's headed, but I like it. Another book I'm in the middle of is Daggermouth. I've been reading this one slowly but surely. It's one that I only have the ebook of, so I started it like probably mid-February, but since I only have the ebook, I've only really been reading it at night before I go to bed, so I only read for like 30 to 40 minutes, and this book is like, it's pretty long. It's like almost 600 pages, but also this is a dystopian romance book, and I feel like it's requiring a lot more of my attention and focus, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm trying to really absorb what I'm reading and not like speed through it or anything like that. So I'm reading it a little slower than I normally would. I'm 45% through now and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to be finishing this one up in March. I also want to continue with the Rose Hill series with Wildcard. This is the last book in the series, and I'm excited to read this one. I'm interested to see this couple's story. Next is Lost and Lassoed. I am so excited to dive back into the series. I cannot wait. I'm hoping to get to this one. If I don't, because I am prioritizing arcs, that's okay, but I do really want to fit this one in. And for my in-person book club, we're reading the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. Now, this is like volume 1. There's like, I think 6 volumes right now. There's going to be 8, something like that. And so we're reading the first one for book club this month. I'm intrigued because I've heard some good things about it, and somebody who is in my book club has already started it, and she's already on like the 3rd one, I think. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this one goes. And then an arc that I'm definitely going to be getting to this month is That's What Friends Are For. I have the E arc and the ALC, so I'm going to do an immersive read with this, and I'm very excited. This one is kind of inspired by The Golden Girls, which is my favorite TV show, so I was very excited to get an arc for this book, and I'm very excited, and it's not too long. Oh, the flop on this book is... I love it. But yeah, I'm excited to listen to this one and do an immersive read. And then there are a couple arcs, like I said, that I'm wanting to get to. I'm kind of wanting to prioritize the ones that have recently come out or that will be coming out this month. But there are a couple that I'm desperately wanting to read. Like I have 2 by some of my favorite authors, J.L. Hyde and Miranda Smith. Both are thriller authors, and I am so excited to have arcs for their newest books that are coming out. So those are ones I really want to get to, but otherwise I need to get to some and just get through as many as I can because I've really piled on a lot and I have to get through these. So yeah, that's my goal for March, is to just get through more of my arcs. So yeah, we will see how March goes. I'm very excited. I'm eager to get through a lot of the arcs that I have because it's like, I get kind of crazy requesting arcs and I really need to slow down, and I have done a good job at slowing down, but it's not enough. So I'm excited to make a good dent in those, get those read. I'm really excited for a lot of them, so it's going to be fun because I'm also going to be leaning into my mood. Even though I'm selecting from a list of arcs, it's still going to be more mood reading, which is what I always enjoy. In the comments, let me know what your favorite read was from February and what you're excited to read in March. Thanks for watching, besties. I'll see you next time.